You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
I think it was a disgraceful performance, and I think it should never be permitted to happen again.
That is very good.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where we're going to be talking about the action from the second day of the fourth test between England and India from the Kennington Oval. It was a day that went one way then the other. India were on top early as they took early wickets, put England under pressure, and then England fought back with Bairstow and Pope playing their shots through the morning and afternoon session. And then the lower order for England, adding vital runs. A stand between Woakes and Anderson really frustrating India. However, India came out with the bat and they looked good, and they put the game in a really interesting position going in to the third day, which I will be attending, so I'm exciting. Ross, my name's Jack Hope, you knew that. The listeners may not have. Your name is Ross Legg. How are you doing?
Yeah, all right, mate. I'm all right. I'm overworked, underpaid, just like many of the people listening to this podcast. But, got to get on with life.
Speaking of payment, how can the listeners pay us?
Well, I never do the Patreon thing, but you can sign up to Patreon for early access. Jack is now teaching himself to be a data whiz. So if you want to catch all of that stuff early and some of the podcasts early, then sign up to that. Also follow us at the Cricket Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and like and subscribe to this video.
Do all of those things. On Patreon as well, you get priority questions if you want to prioritise your question. Ross, the cricket was good today. It was a really, really exciting day of cricket. I mean, the thing about this test match so far is it's been like on speed. Everything's happening so fast. It feels like we should be coming towards the end of day 3. But we're actually only at the end of day 2. Do you want to quickly do your summary? I don't know if you've got a nautical theme like Max recently or whether you're going to wing it.
It's a real humdinger, this test match so far. And I think today's, it just shows the ineptitude. I'm definitely not doing a Max, by the way. It just shows the ineptitude of both of these batting lineups, I think, which is a good thing because some of the bowling that's been on show has been kind of masterful. I think England were probably shitting themselves when Malan got out early on, and then no one cared that Overton got out, did they? I mean, Jack, we'll talk about night watchmen and the value or no value of them later on in the show. But I thought that Bell and Bairstow did very well to kind of give the faith back, and it was almost like T20 cricket for a little bit. I think we were going at 10 and over for about 9 overs or something, whatever it was. And then all of a sudden, the wheels came off. Bairstow got out, got really angry, as he always does. Moeen Ali gave away his wicket, like he always does, and around the score that he did. And then, what we're going to name Woakes is called the Whiz, that Michael Vaughan's been going on all day. But he's a bit of a saviour, old Woakes, isn't he?
So it's a wonder that England decided to leave him out of Test cricket for a year, but they did. It was very much a day, I thought, for things that always happening. So we saw David Malan look all right and then get out. We saw the night watchman fail, which always happens. We saw Ollie Pope, look pretty good. But not go on to substantially change the game, albeit it was the masterstroke of the England innings, and so we'll talk about that. We saw Bairstow get a nice 30, Moeen Ali get a nice 30, Chris Woakes save us down the order. The fast bowler from Sussex, who has a good first-class average, allegedly, blowing it, and Jimmy Anderson blocking it. I mean, from an England point of view, it was you could tick the whole way through. Then on the Indian side, you've got Umesh Yadav, bowled quite well, but was a bit inconsistent. Jasprit Bumrah, looked like the most threatening bowler a lot of the time. Shardul Thakur wasn't very good. Mohammad Siraj, he's the unpredictable one. Like, he's been better than he was today in this match. In this series, sorry. And then Ravindra Jadeja, God, nearly blew that one. The most economical bowler, who seems to sort of burgle a couple of test wickets to keep that phenomenal average really low. In between of it all, though, like obviously the Indian batters, the Indian openers, doing what they have done this whole series and setting India up pretty well, you'd think, for the next day. Shall we start right back at the beginning with the the Malan Overton sort of non-partnership. Ross, what's your view on a night watchman?
Um, I think is because I know you're so staunchly against it. I kind of want to go up with a bit up. It's the best. It's the best thing I've ever seen. The only bit I like about the Night Watchman is the opportunity for a tail ender to surprise people. I don't actually think that logically it makes sense. I don't think you send in a worse batter to be like, oh no, you can go in. If they get out first ball, in some of the cases, like the next batter's just going to come straight back in anyway. Even on the time frame, sometimes it doesn't work. So I think I'd be pretty embarrassed if I was an England number 5 and I'm saying to my England kind of number 8 or 9, can you go and bat ahead of me because I'm feeling a bit scared.
Well, that's fundamentally what a night watchman, and there'll be people listening to this who like the idea. But here are the things it accomplishes. It does protect the next batter, which is good for them because they don't want to bat and get out. It does give the tail ender a shot at getting a good score, like you say. And it does mean that batters down the order, they also have a chance of getting a not out, which is good for their average. The problem is that, by any actually mathematical metric, it doesn't make sense to move all your good batters down. There's a reason you don't put your best player at number 8. It's because they're highly likely to be not out. And if you promote a tail ender, effectively, into a position which they shouldn't be in, then that becomes more likely. Plus, I thought it was a little bit of a sacrifice of Overton. I mean, he can hit the ball around. He might not be Wokes, but he might be good for 15 runs later in the innings. I think offering him up as a sacrifice just seemed a little bit dumb to me. Anyway, got India off to a good start. Milan looked good for a while. He goes as well. And at that point, England, 62 for 5, they looked in major danger, didn't they, Ross?
Yeah, it was definitely squeaky bum time, as we like to say. But I thought that Ollie Pope was assured at the crease. I think he played some lovely shots. He wasn't quite at his elegant best, but he's not the next Ian Bell. So people need to calm down on that one, I think. I did think that Johnny Bairstow, again, there was so much stuff on Twitter saying this, oh, thank goodness that Bairstow is back. I'm so glad that Josh Buttler has lost the gloves to him. I'm not really convinced that Johnny Bairstow getting a 37 or whatever he got is better than what we've got already. I'm not really sure I'm buying into all of the hype.
No, I'm not either. I mean, Bairstow basically in every match this series has done just enough for nobody to actually go, is this guy any good? And there's a lot to be said for like being just slightly better than average. But if you think about it, that's sort of what Josh Buttler has been doing. In his last 3 years in the England side, it's maybe slightly more inconsistently. He doesn't get 30 every time, but it's like, oh, maybe we should get rid of this guy. Oh no, he's got a 50. Keep him going. I don't know if I love it as a long-term solution. Bairstow now in 6 innings this series has scored 184 runs, or maybe I think it's six innings, 184 runs, an average of 30.6. Buttler, he has been averaging 34 in the last 4 years in the England team. If you're bad at maths, 34, that's about 4 runs more than 30. So I think you could make a reasonably logical argument that Buttler is a better option than Bairstow. And if this is good Bairstow, holy shit, what are we going to do when he's rubbish Bairstow again? Like it's if this is the best we can hope for, it's a bit embarrassing. I think overall, so I'm not sure about that. It was a good innings today, though. I think what was good and what you always get from Bairstow. That helps England and can punish the opposition is when the bowling drops off, you have a player in your lineup who can plunder. And India today, there was a really big difference, I think, between basically when Jasprit Bumrah was bowling and Jadeja. Well, Bumrah and Jadeja bowled very well, I thought, most of the day. Yadav was okay in the morning, and he looked tired later on. And when you had Thakur, Siraj, and tired Yadav bowling. They weren't very good, and they were there to be plundered. And when we saw, that little spell before lunch where England went at 10 and over for 6 overs, Pope and Bairstow hitting the ball all over the place, and that really did substantially changed the dynamic of the game. I mean, I'm teaching grannies to suck eggs to some extent here, but a partnership that takes a team from 62 for 5 to 151 for 6, that's a good knock. You know, both players have worked well together there. That's some hard work. And when you're chasing a target, or the team batting first only set 190 in their first innings, that is pretty game changing. So, you know, all that said, what are we left with here? We're left with Johnny Bairstow keeping his place in the team, probably going to Australia. That'll be quite funny.
Oh, there's no doubt. He's definitely going to Australia. He's definitely going to Australia. He's in every single Test team for the next 5 years. So. And
then at the same time, we're hopeful that we're seeing Act 2, if you like, of Ollie Pope. He had struggled in India. He looked good-ish last summer. He looked good-ish in South Africa. I thought he played a very good innings today. I don't know what you thought, Ross.
I think he still looks like he's struggling a little bit against spin. Like when he came into the team, it was said that Ollie Pope is amazing against spin. You should watch his feet movement. His technique's perfect. He could not play it for love nor money in India. Granted, not too many other people could play spin very well on the India. But again, his technique just looks a little bit circumspect against that. But it comes to confidence, right? I think today when he got to 80, he looked quite tired. And that comes from actually not playing that much cricket. And I think you saw it. Like, he's not Chris Wokes. Chris Wokes is clearly a machine. But I think that 80 has is going to be really, really good for actually Ollie Pope's Test career. I think if you got another...
getting an 80.
But if Dan Lawrence getting an 80... was kind of just, actually, this guy's got something about him. There were still some questions around Ollie Pope from some of the England fans around, actually, what is he going to do here? If he then got out to Jadeja yet again, or Ashwin, if he would have played yet again, kind of big questions start to get asked about him, and that doubt kind of goes in. Now he's got a bit of a run in the team, I think.
Tim Wilton-Davis in the chat has pointed out that I couldn't get 37 runs against Bumrah, which is a fair point, but that's not really the position we're coming from here. It's true. There are very few people that could do that. I did think it was. I mean, Pope was helped massively, and I'm sure everyone saw this on the graphics on the screen. He averages 105, or did average 105 at the Oval, and that's fallen to 99.4 after his 80 today.
Terrible. Get him out.
He did look a lot more comfortable. It has to be said.
If you bat a six at the Oval, you're going to look comfortable. There is that big. You're batting on probably the best batting deck in the country on day 2 or day 3 is the best time to bat. If you're not going to hit runs then, against, as you say, a flagging kind of Shardul Thakur, you're just like, actually, you're never going to hit runs. I think as Yash pointed out in the chat that I was right about the horses for courses kind of thing. If I was so right about that, I think Rory Burns would have got more than 5. But there's still small bits of ammunition going for my selection approach.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the Indian bowling? Because it was a bit patchy today, wasn't it? I think we've given Bumrah some credit. He wasn't at his most threatening, but it was a reasonably benign surface. 280 runs scored for seven, and a lot of those 7 wickets were sort of tail enders. The top 3 of England have been lopped off before the day started. So it was clearly a batting day, and all the stats said it would be a batting day. Bumrah was good. I thought Jadeja tied up an end so well. He showed what he was all about. The rest of them, though, rate them out of 10. Umesh Yadav, performance today. No doubt he was great yesterday. Performance today.
Tired. Looked like he hadn't played a lot of cricket. I'm going to go 4 out of 10.
Yeah, Siraj, we've seen him play excellent cricket earlier in the series. His figures today, 12 overs, 42 for 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's not pretty reading. I mean, if you go above kind of 3 and over, I think it's a bit of, you're not providing that control, but I think, 4 of their bowlers have all gone over that bit. I think Siraj has bowled his absolute heart out on here, but today's performance, 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. And then Lord Thakur. We saw Shardulkar yesterday, and we saw Lord Thakur today, didn't we?
I genuinely can't believe England batsmen get out to him. It winds me up that you've got this pie chucker coming on, and people love him. People absolutely love him, but he's not. He's honestly a shit version of Darren Stevens. Just ambles up, throws a little one down, and for some reason England batsmen are just like, oh my God, I don't know how to play this. That's all they play in county cricket. That is literally all they play. Like if people say that county cricket doesn't give enough to the game, there should be that bit where these guys plunder someone like Shardul Thakur.
Well, they did have a go at it. I think you can kind of see that it caused problems for Kohli as well, actually. The 3 of his bowlers misfired a bit. India bowled at 84 overs. Mohammad Siraj has only bowled 12 of those. That's not a huge chunk. You know, you'd expect the workload to be a bit higher there. Bumrah bowled 21. He had cramp and was looking a little bit unfit. I think we speculated that maybe he should come out the team. But the kind of war mindset that both teams were in would mean that teams, they'd stick basically with their best bowlers. And I think we actually saw that Siraj maybe a little overworked in the series so far. Couldn't do it today. And Bumrah also cramping at a less lethal level. Do you want to know why Shardul Thakur is addressed as Lord, by the way? There's someone in our comments yesterday, I think it was Butch Cat, put this in. So why is Shardul Thakur addressed as Lord? A brief history. As the answer is, in India we use Lord for the bowlers who are economically very expensive in the IPL. For example, Lord Siraj, Lord Shardul, Lord Umesh, etc. This IPL knighthood is given to the elite bowlers of the Dinda Academy, named after the legendary Ashok Dinda. It's a very special academy for the most expensive, economically speaking, bowlers, where the present cut-off is 12 runs per over, which, that's a few, isn't it? That's not, it's not what you'd say, it's not economical, let's just put it bluntly. So it's not specific to Shardul, and his name has nothing to do with it. All the other bowlers started bowling well, so their titles were eventually stripped off. But our large Shardul's case was quite unique. He can pick wickets with shitty deliveries, which is not possible for mere mortals. He's the only bowler who is capable of picking up a fifer and going at 14 runs per over at the same time. I'll just quote Silly Point, one of the cricket handles on Twitter. Lord Shardul isn't a cricketer. He's a thought. He is neither created nor destroyed. He flows with time and flies with the wind. And his batting, you just saw him confirming his place in the T20 World Cup squad through a test innings. Hashtag just Lord things. So thank you for that brief history. I thought that was quite interesting. And it does sum him up a little bit. And even today, the wicket, he picks up the most important wicket, like a proper game-changing wicket with a pie. Like a ball that's like a yard wide of off stump short. Pope should have hit that so hard that it went through the advertising hoarding and maimed the person in the front row. It should never have been played onto his stumps. But
took the guy out with the Mohammed Shami birthday cake who they kept on shoving on the thing.
That's Lord Shardul. Subakar in the super chat says Ashwin's going to retire after this series and start a YouTube career. Kohli will be his first subscriber. I very much doubt that. He has got a good YouTube channel though. Ross, on the Ashwin point, did we see why Ashwin should have played today?
Yeah, we've seen it every single day of the 2 days that have been played. But he should have been playing throughout this test match, and it's frustrating that. I mean, I've got tickets for Sunday. I don't think it's going to get to Sunday, but I would have loved to see kind of a Ravi Ashwin playing that day.
You don't think it's going to get to Sunday? I think it's pretty well set up.
I think someone's going to get absolutely rolled tomorrow, and it could well be England.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get on to our predictions for later in the match in a moment, and we'll continue with the England innings. After Bairstow falls, Moeen Ali comes in, and as we sort of said, looked pretty good for his 35, and then got out in a heinous fashion.
I bloody love Moeen Ali. Like, there's no bit around it that you knew it was going to happen. You completely, like, the whole situation was serenely set for, there's been a partnership. We're well in here. Finally, Moeen Ali can really take these guys to the cleaners and go into that destructive mode, just like we want Butler to do, and he's never done it really in an England shirt. It just didn't happen. We literally hit another pie. Jade just lobbed it up outside off stump and goes, you saw his face just like, this is going to go for 6, this one. And he just tried to hit it way too hard, and it went looped up in the air to Rohit Sharma at cover. It was.
Do you know what it reminded me of, Ross? In our cricket team, I Don't Like Cricket Club, we used to have a player who played for us every week called Tom the Power Gower. And Tom the Power Gower had the most unbelievable hand-eye coordination you will ever see. He was a phenom. He'd never played cricket before. In his first innings, he got 37 off 20 balls, and he was hitting the ball all round the ground. He was playing back foot cover drives, pulls, sweeps. He didn't know the name for any of these shots. He didn't know any of the fielding positions. He didn't know you had to bowl with a straight arm. But he was an absolute gun. And then he'd get out trying to defend the ball on one leg or scoop the ball back to the bowler. He'd be out in ridiculous ways, humiliating, disgraceful ways. Moeen Ali is basically the international version of Tom the Power Gower. He can do ridiculous things. He was punching the ball back down the ground. Some of those shots he played through the covers were amazing. He played this one, outstanding pull shot with it. It's dug in a little bit and he whacks it like 2 bounces into the boundary. And you're like, this guy he's got all the talent in the world. And then he gets out, hitting to a guy whose sunglasses fall off mid-catch, and is still able to take the catch. It was so simple. I mean, Rohit afterwards was feeling around like someone had dropped some ice down the back of his shirt. And it did feel a bit disappointing. I know it's the sort of way he plays. I know those runs were valuable. I know he was effectively batting at number 8. But I felt like a missed opportunity. From there, Pope gets out shortly after, dragging on to Shardul Thakur. We talk about that. Robinson, I don't know what was going on there, gets 5 or 6 balls and tries to hit Ravindra Jadeja into the River Thames.
He thought he was good as Thakur. That's what he thought. It was like, it was good enough for him yesterday. I can do this. Not so much.
He didn't work. That brings Anderson to the crease at 255 for 9. So England there, 64 runs ahead. But they press on, and Wokes scores, virtually all the runs from this point in the game. Gets England up to 290, which is, I think, a 99-run lead.
99, yeah. I thought he batted really well, Chris Wokes.
Yeah, I was going to say, what did you rate? How did you rate Chris Wokes?
Well, I just thought he was playing smart cricket. I think sometimes it's difficult batting with the tail, and there is a real skill to it anyway. But being able to find the boundary, I do think Kohli's come in for some praise. This test series around his captaincy and has been a little bit innovative and has kind of managed his bowl as well, etc. He put in a player to stop Jimmy Anderson's reverse sweep. Instantly, I don't like that. Don't think it's necessary. And then secondly, there was about 16 runs that Chris Wokes scored where they just didn't have someone on obviously on the boundary. Like there was one he clipped through square leg where and Bumrah's going to bowl straight. If he gets it slightly wrong, he's just going to nudge it, and literally it just rolled gradually. No one was near it to get it, and it was just I'm not sure even if it even showed it hitting the rope. It just panned to Virat Kohli's face, and he's just standing there like that. I forgot to put
we did have some good.
Leg.
We had some good Kohli cam moments today. He was. I think Umesh Yadav bowled like a half tracker that got hit for 4, and Kohli was just at first flip the smallest shake of the head and a face of thunder, just not overdoing it that time. He's got good range of anger. That's what we love about Kohli. He can ball in the umpire's face with the best of them, but also just do the frown at first slip like an absolute boss.
It'd make a good dad. I reckon that's a good dad quality. I'm not disappointed, son. I'm not angry, son. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. But you could also. No, I'm not going to say that. Subankar in a super chat has said, do send us a super chat. We do appreciate them. 5th test, Jarvo 69. We haven't talked about Jarvo, so we should get onto that. Jarvo 69 should come with his partner in 69 as umpires. and raise something else than finger to get English batters out. What the fuck's English security doing? Let's talk. Did you see Jarvo, Ross?
No, I saw it on Twitter that he was back. The 3rd time he's managed to breach security.
Yeah, he ran on, bowled a delivery, barged Johnny Bairstow. At that point the cameras cut away. Presumably he was taken off. He's now spending the night at the pleasure of Her Majesty. He has been arrested for assaulting Johnny Bairstow. And there are 25,000 witnesses to the crime. Ross, it was one joke too many, I think, wasn't it? There's timing's the thing in comedy. Repetition can be funny in comedy. I mean, we keep doing this show, and that's kind of funny. We've not learned. But I do feel like he should have gone out as a king after the day at Lord's.
Yeah, he could have rolled out on that, couldn't he? People would have been like, "Oh, you were the Jarvo guy." Now it's you're the Jarvo guy.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's just
And
tragic.
are you doing an impression of another prisoner there?
Oh yeah, oh, it's the Jarvo guy. Hello, mate. Just seeing you. I saw you. The prison guard had it on. Yeah, it was great. Oh, he's back again. He just seems like he's like a one too many tools short of for the shed, or kind of like one too many light bulbs that's not there for him. And it's just whoever's bankrolling it, why are they bankrolling it? That is probably a big question for me. Like, one is a complete waste of a ticket, and there's people who there's some of these days are sold out, and they're giving tickets to this Jarvo 69 character. That's already a waste. And then somebody is probably paying his fines, or at least paying his food bill. I don't know. It depends which one you're going to want to go on. Just seems a little bit silly, and it's probably not a good indictment of the security that are actually available at the cricket grounds. It's like, for the players, I'd be sitting there going,
It hasn't been it's not been a legendary summer for English security at sports events, has it? No. What's happening, I would imagine, is that he's slipping someone 50 quid who works for G4S, and they're just shepherding him onto the pitch. Because, why not if you make £4.50 an hour? But it is ridiculous. Also, people go on and off a lot, and if you don't know anything about cricket, which a lot of these stewards won't, it could be anybody. It should be better, though. Someone is saying we missed the opportunity to talk about Hamid's scraping of the danger area yesterday. Kohli, surprise, surprise, was about to take the umpire's head off on that occasion. Did you see that, Ross?
nope.
But Hamid basically took guard and then he scratches two other lines like a yard down the wicket for off stump and leg stump. It's odd. Yeah, next time he bats, take a look for it. He is like the most bowled player leaving the ball in county cricket, so maybe he does just need a visual cue to remind him that he's got an off stump. But
Didn't Shivnarine Chanderpaul used to do that? So he used to take the bail off.
Yeah.
He used to do his thing, and then he would do one that was like a yard in front of him. So, I mean, I don't have any problem with that. I think Kohli needs to chill out.
Right, there's 191 people viewing now. It's gone down to 188, so I don't know what we said.
Like the video.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, get your huge wallet out, and go over to patreon.com/thecricketpod, become a Patreon there, get priority questions, get early access to stuff, get a hat. We're going to move on to what I think most people are waiting for now, the Indian batting. So India go out to bat. They are 99 runs behind. What would you, as a percentage, what would you give their percentage chance at that point in the game? 99 behind, a tricky evening session to negotiate late on day two.
I actually think a reasonably good chance. I think I was listening to Shane Warne talk at the other Test match. He talked about how fast bowlers kind of need like a night, or preferably 2 nights, to kind of recover. And like the England bowling lineup, like Ollie Robinson has been flogged, like big time. Like, he's been bowled into the ground. I think you've seen like Jimmy Anderson, as much as he's kind of fit as a fiddle, he's still 40 years old, and Chris Woakes just coming back from injury. I think it's a good opportunity for India to cash in. I think they've got probably the best day to bat out. They've already 40 runs on the board. Yeah, they're 50 odd behind. But actually, I think day 3 is going to be a good batting day. I think your tickets tomorrow, Jack, could well be. You could be seeing the Kohli century, and you could well be seeing kind of them rack up an unassailable lead. I think.
Do you know what I'm worried about?
Watching Pujara bat
30 off 200 balls. All he can see at this moment in time, Pujara's number 3. You know, they've gone through that tricky hour. He knows he's going to be going out. It's going to be sunny probably when he bats, and he's going to have days ahead of him to bat. It's like I had a friend who tripped acid once, and they said they were walking home at 3 a.m. after this trip. And they were walking down a hill, and they said the road just went on forever. They could see, effectively in infinity. And they showed me where it was. The road, I can confirm, didn't go on for infinity. It was about 300 yards long, but in his mind it was like that. That's what Pujara's got. He's tripping on the possibility of the number of balls that he could use up tomorrow, and I'm worried that I will have to witness that. As good as he is, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, would anybody in the chat pay £80 to watch that?
I'm glad that you're there tomorrow. No, I mean, the ticket on Sunday could tomorrow is going to obviously completely dictate what happens on the Sunday, but the fact that you could potentially see Pujara and Kohli bat for so long, see a Kohli century surrounded by who will be I would send the Indian fans into a delirium in that stadium. It'd be like seeing Tendulkar hit his 100th century. Like,
I nearly saw that at the Oval, but it didn't happen. 91.
Bottled that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did bottle it, yeah. Got out to a ball that wasn't even hitting the stumps. LBW, idiot.
I think what is also good is that your bet with the rest of Twitter around KL Rahul.
Yeah. This is his chance. This is his big chance because they're not going to play a test in Manchester at the end of September. That's going to be rained off for sure. It's an absolute road at the moment, the Oval. It will get harder to bat on day 4, I think. This is KL Rahul's chance to prove me wrong, make me eat my words, get his second or third 50 of the series. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. I mean, yeah, they were really good this evening, though. The only moment of real danger was Rohit Sharma edging the ball to Rory Burns' ankle.
Yeah, but that's all right because Rory Burns. Oh, just let that one go through.
It was a bit too. I'm going to leave that one on length.
Yeah, don't want to be getting my hands near that. I could get injured.
It was odd. I mean, I guess he lost it in the sun or something. People didn't really make much of a deal of it. I know what was happening though. I mean, CricViz, they spent like the whole of the last test bigging up how Rory Burns should be in the slips. They were like, no, 90% catching rate. He's a god. In this test so far, he's let like 2 just go by, just like bye, and then he missed that one where he just wasn't watching the ball. I mean, it's like the sun might have been in your eyes, but also you probably weren't watching. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Does it count as a drop if you don't touch the ball?
But I don't know. Probably not. I mean, it's
that's a bit like.
I mean, here's what I was wondering. He wasn't wearing sunglasses at the time, so maybe it was an elaborate pitch to get a Sunny sponsor.
Maybe.
There's been a lot. Yeah,
there's been a lot of chat about the sunglasses. Like Rishabh Pant was the kind of trendsetter with kind of the old wraparound, and now Joe Root's got them on. Maybe it's time for the whole sip. I mean, Rory Burns' look is questionable the best of times, but some good old sunglasses that take over a third of his face could well be the answer.
We've got a lot of stuff going on in the chat about all about Pujara and Ashwin not getting on the field. If you've got any questions, send them in now. We have one from Patreon. VJ, hey guys. Hey VJ.
Hey VJ.
Yeah. Great day of Test cricket. I have a simple question. So Ross, this is going to be easy. This one. How much of a similarity do you see this match is moving forward compared to the first Test, except that England will bat last? With the weather around the corner for the last 2 days, are we headed for a dull draw? And then he's given us a champagne clink and a cheers. So, cheers, VJ. Ross, is there going to be weather? Is it going to be a draw? I can't see it being a draw.
I can't see it being a draw either. I just think that you can't be in this position after 2 days and then get a draw. I think we'll get in the required overs in the next 3 days. So I'm not sure it's quite going to pan out like the first Test match.
Yeah, I'm looking at the weather now. There's a chance of a shower tomorrow afternoon, but 7% chance of a shower. Sunday's set fair, and Monday it's going to be 26 degrees. So
maybe it'd be too hot to play. Maybe that's what VJ's actually going with. It's going to be too sunny, and Rory Burns will have nothing left for his eyes.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's got a little bit of a rhythm of the first Test. So that was the one where Root scored that great century to drag England out of trouble, and then the rest of the team just couldn't do enough to put the game beyond India. And then India batted really well at the end of day 4, was it? And everyone in England was like, oh, this is trouble. And then it poured with rain. Just poured with rain. Completely unexpected. People were like, it's going to be dry. There might be a bit of a shower in the afternoon. And it hosed it down for hours. So who's going to be the person to get the century? You said Kohli. I can't see it being Kohli. I can see one of the openers getting a ton. I think it's got to be one of them.
Yeah, I think Rohit almost deserves it. I think Rohit's batted really, really well. And I think, yes, he's thrown away his wicket a couple of times, but he's batted through some of the most difficult bowling conditions or batting conditions. But there is just something about this. There's just that. But even though Kohli is out of form, he keeps on showing that. Oh, is he really there? Is he there? Gets a 50, doesn't quite make it. This could be the moment if we're comparing it to the first Test match where Big Daddy Root stepped up. Maybe it's time for Kohli to do it.
Yeah,
I'm not
maybe.
sure about that. So.
Summit asks, how many sessions do India need to play out? That's a good question, I think, for a win, I presume.
Yeah, I have to battle tomorrow. They have to battle
all
tomorrow.
day.
Yeah, I think for them to get that proper, to put them in the real driving seat, as the saying has to be on by Rob Key. They're in the driving seat.
I think, yeah, you're probably right. The teams be scoring 280 runs today, 250 on the first day. You can score on this wicket compared to some of the other ones we've seen. If they bat all day and split the difference there, get 265.
Their bowlers need a break as well. You could see their bowlers need a break. Then I think that is the biggest thing. There is a bit around. So you might see Pujara and hate Pujara for hitting 30 of 150 balls, but Siraj and Thakur and those guys would be like, thank God that guy's doing that, because they're flogged at the moment.
Yeah, give Thakur a chance to eat some of those cheeseburgers that he appears to enjoy so much. I think you're right. If they bat all day tomorrow, get 250, that gives them about a 200-run lead. Then they are in the game. 200 on day 4 will be tricky for England, and England are bottle jobs. They're big bottle jobs. So I think that would probably make India favourites. But a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Any other questions? I don't think there's anything else in there. So we can wrap up the show if you like, Ross. 36 minutes. Which we are aiming for half an hour, people at home. But we never do it. We did 50 yesterday, so we've sliced 14 minutes.
Well, there's 225 people watching this. Like the video. Come on, like and subscribe. Be kind.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Be kind. Sumia, what a lovely thought to end on. I think India is losing. So if it happens, it was their fault. Thanks very much. Thanks very much for listening and following. As Ross says, hit like, hit subscribe. We enjoy making this content and you make it happy. We're not actually going to be doing a show tomorrow, are we? Because I'm at the Oval. Unless you want to do it yourself, Ross, or you want to get Dan Weston.
No, I'm playing my final game of cricket tomorrow. So for the season.
Ever? Retiring?
Yeah, forever. I'm going to retire. Yeah, retire. I'm going out on top.
And Max is playing as well. It's basically the last day of the recreational cricket season tomorrow. It's a bit of a shame it fell on what could be an exciting day. Well, what's going to happen is Kohli's going to get his 100 and we would get 20,000 views. And we're going to be like, I'm going to be drunk at the Oval and you two are going to be like bowled out for 70 by some 12-year-olds. See you later, everyone.